This is Abigail King. Welcome to my Wellness Revolution series. And in week 1, we're going to be talking all about gut health. So to begin, I want to go over what the gut microbiome is. So covering our bodies from our head to our toes are these invisible microbes. And the largest concentration of these microbes are in our gut. There's about 39 trillion microbes living in our gut. And we have, in fact, more bacterial DNA than human DNA. So that's kind of staggering to think about. And that's how important these microbes are. This community of microorganisms is called the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is composed of microorganisms including bacteria, archaea, viruses, parasites, and fungi that all live within our digestive tract, beginning from our mouth, going through our esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and out the anus. It's an ecosystem, and ideally there's a balance between the good guys and the bad guys. So the good guys, or they're known as probiotics, these are the good anti-inflammatory microbes, and the bad guys are known as the inflammatory microbes. So when we have this healthy balance between the good and the bad, this is called eubiosis. But when the bad guys outweigh the good guys, this is when disease presents. This imbalance of bacteria in the gut microbiome is called dysbiosis, and dysbiosis is a main contributor to chronic disease. If you struggle with health issues such as bloating, constipation, gas, irritable bowel syndrome, hormone imbalance, weight gain, mood imbalances, cardiovascular disease, immune dysfunction, your gut microbiome is likely out of balance, and you probably have some dysbiosis or an imbalance of bacteria in your gut. So it is these microbes in your gut that control not only digestion, but also our access to nutrients, our immune system, hormone balance, metabolism, weight balance, mood, and the expression of our genetics. So what does gut health have to do with inflammation? Well, there are probiotics in your gut, and they need certain nutrients that you can only get through fiber. So to start from the beginning, fiber, it acts as a prebiotic that feeds the probiotics. And these probiotics, or the microbes, the bacteria, produce what's called short-chain fatty acids. And these short-chain fatty acids are the way that our gut microbiome connect to our immune system. They pass into the bloodstream, and they can even cross the blood-brain barrier. So they're responsible for turning off powerful pro-inflammatory pathways in our body. So it's really important to make sure that we're doing everything we can to feed the bacteria in our gut enough fiber, which you can only get through plant foods. A couple of topics I want to touch on that really affect the health of our gut microbiome. First and foremost is nutrition, of course. And it is all about what we're feeding our gut microbiome, or the bacteria in our gut. So eating a diversity of plant foods and eating enough fiber in our diet is going to keep the balance in our gut microbiome. Secondly is stress. So no matter who you are, stress affects your gut microbiome. We deal with stress on a daily basis more often than we did hundreds of years ago. And it's important to have a mindfulness practice to combat any dysbiosis that can occur from the stress. Stress acts as inflammation on the body, just like if you were to cut your finger or have an injury. So it's important to talk about and find different mindfulness practices to help with stress. And we'll talk more about this in week 4. And also, stress has a lot to do with the gut-brain connection. If many of you have heard about how the gut is often referred to as our second brain, and that's because hormones produced by your brain can induce dysbiosis in times of stress. So stress can absolutely alter the microbiome, whether there's too much, and it starts to promote more bad bacteria in your gut. So many people manifest stress in their gut, and stress can also lead to the development of anxiety and depression in the gut. And it's part of this circuit and communication between the gut and the brain, and it's a vicious cycle. So it's important to really get your stress under control, but also support the good bacteria in your gut to kind of cut off that vicious cycle. And also, trauma is a very common root cause of gut issues, and it has a profound effect on the gut microbiome. So for some, it's difficult to connect the two initially, but it's really important to address these open wounds so that you can move towards optimal health. And next is sleep. To me, this is one of the biggest interventions for a healthy gut, so don't underestimate the power of getting a good night's sleep. When you are sleep deprived, your microbiome actually resembles that of an obese person. Do you notice that when you're tired, you start to crave sweets and simple carbohydrates? That's a result of a shift in your microbiome because you are sleep deprived. And lastly, movement. Movement can actually change your microbiome for the better. There has been studies showing that exercises increase short-chain fatty acid production, and if you remember, those are what the good bacteria or probiotics produce, and they facilitate the anti-inflammatory pathways. So different exercises enhance your microbiome in different ways, so I encourage you to try different forms of movement. So this wraps up week 1 of gut health. So I hope everyone enjoyed that and learned a lot, and I look forward to next week. We'll be learning all about nutrition.